KFC. Don't just eat Kentucky Fried Chicken, live it.
Hey everyone, this is your host Neetu Rishi in the Passionpreneur Show, where we bring passionate people, not only the ones who are passionate about something, but they have changed lives, they have transformed lives, they are the catalyst because they have converted their passion into their business, and that was their calling. Most of you know me as an author, as an entrepreneur, as a pageant coach, as a model. But you know, one word that describes me best is a passionpreneur, because I've converted my passion into my two thriving business. The first one is Fly Showcase. Fly means first love yourself. It's a modeling school for those people who were told you are not there to fit in that modeling world, and I help them to stand out. And the second one is the Success Door, where I coach the students, young, middle, and high school students, to get better and get college ready by either putting a tick mark on being an author, being an entrepreneur, being a TEDx speaker, anything that makes them shine. And today, I'm super excited to introduce you to our guest for today, none other than Nancy Grabe. Hey, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome, beautiful. I love all the colors.
Thank you.
We both are colorful because our life is colorful. We made it, right? A little bit about Nancy Grabe. She's a foundational She owns a company called the Foundational Family. She's also the co-founder at Foundation Nexus. We get to know all about these founder, you know, we get to know. We'll dive deep into that. And then she's a family therapist, a parent coach, and an aspiring author. Are you ready to listen to her story, the why behind it? I got to meet her today, and I was super pumped up by listening to her story, and I wanted it for you. All right, let's tell our audience, how did you start? Why did you start? What was the turning point?
Yeah, so my story starts when I was 9. I was 9 years old, and we'd moved. My parents are Canadians, so they had Canadian accents, and I was very little, and I had lived in New Jersey, and we moved back to the Chicagoland area, and I didn't sound like the other kids. And the kids are mean and they tease, and that was okay, but I'm also terribly dyslexic, and I didn't know it. And so the teacher, when I couldn't read, announces to the entire class, Nancy is retarded and can't learn anymore. And then she proceeded to tell all the kids that it's probably contagious and that they shouldn't play with me because they might get it. That made school unbearable. But back in 1969, you didn't rush home and tell mom and dad. And quite honestly, I didn't know what I would tell them anyway. I'm not sure that Nancy in 1979, 89, 29 would have said anything, because I was like, I'm having troubles at school, and this teacher said I'm retarded. That must be the reason. And if mom and dad aren't talking about it, then either they don't know and I don't want to tell them, or they know and they're embarrassed, so we're not going to talk about it.
Right.
So I kept it to myself.
In any case, you accepted it as a reality.
It became my reality.
Right.
Right? And the thing about it is that kids believe what's in their heads if we don't help them. That's so important.
It is.
And we have to ask good questions to get to that. So the wonderful thing is my mom and dad and all the other parents figured out how sick this teacher was, and they got her fired. And you would think, well, that's the end of the story. The problem was I was still struggling.
Yes, because the seed was implanted already here.
Well, not only was it doing that, but I truly had a learning disability. So you can be what they call twice exceptional,
Right.
a high IQ and a learning disability. You can do well in school, but you feel broken. And so I felt broken, and my parents are like, everything's fixed, go live life. And I couldn't. And so then I felt alone, and I felt lost.
And this was when you were 9 years old.
9 years old. I ended up with ulcers and saw the school social worker. And, I learned to deal with it. But it was always, I'm not enough. I'm not smart. Like I was just a day late and a dollar short for everything in my mind. And it was really hard. I graduated from graduate school thinking I'm going to save the world. There's never going to be another child who felt like I felt.
Oh, and that self-doubt continued being with you.
Yeah.
Oh my God, so many years. It's such a heavy baggage, I feel, isn't it?
It was. I think I was very blessed that a couple of really good friends of mine in the same dorm had borrowed my notes in college. And when I went, I thought, well, if I could go study with them, that would help me because I still wasn't reading at grade level. I was in a very good school. I went to Drew University in Madison, New Jersey, which is a baby Ivy. And I had to be smart to get in there, but I didn't think, I thought I'd fooled the world. It's amazing what the gymnastics we will do in our own brain. And so I went to study with these girls and they were laughing and having fun. And I was like, what's so funny? And they said, well, you must be sleeping with the professors to have the A's that you have. And I don't think they meant to hurt me, but at that moment I thought, if my friends think that, then what does the rest of the world think of me? And I had all sorts of suicidal thoughts and just self-doubt. And I mean, I was 9 again. And it's amazing how in a split second, you go from being this 20-year-old capable girl I was a TA in psychology and sociology. I had straight A's. And all of a sudden I was 9 and incapable. Completely incapable. And I went to the counseling office. I didn't just go, I ran. I literally crying and I was a mess. And the young man who saw me was working on his PhD and he said, can I test you? I think you must have learning disabilities. And for the first time, he knew what was wrong. And he really helped me. And that gave me a great deal of relief. But my thought at first was to save these kids. I became a mom and I had been working for many years. And I realized that as much as I worked with the kids, it could take a year to 3 to get a kid where they didn't think the things they were thinking, they had healthier thinking, and they could function in the world. And I asked a young man, I guess now it's been about 20 years ago, I said, can I coach your mom and dad? And he goes, are you going to tell them what I told you? And I was like, no. What you and I say is private. This is your sanctuary. However, if it's all right, if I could teach them to talk to you like I talk to you, to listen.
Was 20 years ago.
About 20 years ago.
I mean, so challenging to tell the parent that I'm going to teach you how to be a parent. And they say, we have given birth. We know everything.
It's my baby. Well, you know what made it easier was that I always sit down and the first thing I say is, who would you like your son or daughter to be connected to? You or me? Well, the answer is you.
Of course.
Right? I don't want my kid connected to you. I want them to connect to me. That's number one. Number two is, are you frustrated? Do you feel like you're talking to them and they're not hearing you? Or that you just don't understand what's wrong? That you've given them everything that they need? Why is this happening? If I could help you, I'm not going to make you a therapist, just going to help you connect with your kid and have that deep, abiding relationship that gives you influence over them and will mean that when they're 20, 30, 50, that they're going to want to turn to you and talk to you about what's happening. Would you be interested?
The answer has to be yes, of course.
And that's what I do, is that I help parents with communication, with listening. And I know that sounds crazy. We all listen, right? The reality is that most of us are not listening. We're waiting for that moment when the other person takes a deep breath. Oh, they stopped talking. I'm going to talk. Or when you say something and I go, oh, I know what I can say about that. I know something. And then I stop listening to everything you say from that moment. And if I could help everybody listen, I call it live, right? Really live with each other. Listen. Listen to understand.
Don't listen to respond.
Not to respond, and don't listen to fix. You're listening to understand. There's nothing in the world that pisses me off. And I use that word on purpose. I get so mad. You and I talk for 5 minutes and I go, oh, I'm having a problem with my husband. And before I say anything else, you say, well, you know what you should do?
I'm like, we are so used to, I think we are hardwired for giving advice, and everybody in this world thinks, I know better than you. And this, when you were talking about this parenting, there's one parent, because when I work with kids definitely share their heart with me. But because I am not a parent coach, my goal is to work with the kids. I tell them how to react, but there has to be something with the parents. So this one parent comes and says, my son used to come to me every morning, give me a hug, and then wish me good morning, talk to me. And now he's in high school, he doesn't talk to me. I said, he's grown up. I mean, every child is different. You can't expect the way he used to hug you, he'll hug you again. I have a son, 25 years old. He doesn't let me hug him. And then I'll say, oh, Mom, I'm not a baby anymore. So I think parents have to grow with the kids. Yeah. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I have a 34-year-old son and a daughter-in-law and a grandbaby. And I have a 30...
She's a grandmom. Come on.
Oh, I love it. And then I have a 37-year-old. And they still hug me. They still sit beside me.
Aww.
They wanted that contact. It's really about building that relationship. I'm not saying you don't have a relationship. I'm saying, do you have that one? And when I say that, every mom knows what I'm talking about. And here's the thing, is it's two pieces. One is that when you brought them home from the hospital, they rule the roost, right? We all do whatever they need. They cry, we pick them up, we burp them, we feed them, we'll do whatever. We'll take them for a car ride to calm them down. And about the time they're 2, we go, I love this child, but I'm not even going to like them, let alone the rest of the world, if we don't right now stop this.
Right.
Because they're little monsters. Because the world revolves around them.
Yes.
So we say no, and we walk away from them. And they learn, and they go, oh, you know what? When mommy says no, she means it. Mommy still loves me. And then we start teaching and training. And we teach and train from about 2 or 3 until they're about 11. That is it. What 11-year-old do you know that doesn't know what their parents expect?
They know everything. I was reading somewhere, kids are the best psychologists.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they know everything. There was a story even I read that a child if the child wants something, they ask for it. I want this. And the mom says, no, you're not getting it. Can I get it after some time? No, you play with this. We try to, deviate the mind. But then the child comes again. And lastly, the child starts crying. And especially if you're taking them in a mall, they start crying. And the mom thinks, oh, stop crying. You get this. So the next time the child knows by crying, I got it. So why to request? The first thing, let me cry and I'll get it. So they understand the brain much better than we can understand.
But it's even more than that. By the time we're 11, we know what it's like. I'm a Grabe, right? So my boys knew by the time they were 11 what I expected them to do, to say thank you, yes ma'am, no ma'am, please and thank you, to wear their pants when it was cold and snowy. And they know the rules. They know what we expect as parents. There's no question about that.
Right, right.
Now, very slowly, we have to move from being the teacher and the trainer, slowly move back and become a coach and a mentor. And I'm not saying overnight, right? You're going, oh my gosh, Nancy said I should be a mentor. No, not at 11. But at 11, you start giving them. And honestly, from the time that they're about 2, I like to say, do you want the red pants or the green pants? Never offer your child something you're not okay with. That's the biggest mistake we make. But you do that slowly but surely, like, well, what do you think? How would you like to handle this? Drawing them and giving them more and more independence. If you don't, guess who throws the temper tantrum in their teenage years? The mom and dad, because we're like, I'm your mother and you'll do it because I said so. We're throwing the temper tantrum because the world's changing. But the goal is for them to become independent.
I love it when you said, I want to reiterate, give them independence, right?
Yeah.
Right from, the beginning.
The very beginning. And here's the thing. We think about it as, I'm raising children. I want to change everybody's thinking. Don't raise children.
Okay.
Raise adults.
Okay. This is again to be reiterated. Don't raise children, raise adults. Oh, wow. It has so much meaning in it. Now I understand the foundation behind all this.
Well, I tell you why I call it foundational family and we call it foundational nexus. The reality is that the family is the foundation that each one of us goes into the world under.
It does.
And our children are the building blocks of society. They're the foundation. So we as a family, if we're not strong and we're not doing it right, and we're not teaching them resilience, independence, and also how to ask for and use advice.
Right.
We're really messing up the world. I cannot tell you how many companies I go and speak to because they're hiring young people and the kids are at work and they do whatever they've been told by their boss.
Right.
And I bet you've all seen this. Every one of us has seen it. They sit down after they finished whatever that job was and they're on their phone doing this and doing this. And the boss comes along and goes, "Why aren't you working?" And they said, "Well, I did what you asked." And they're like, "Well, do something else." And they're like what?
Take the ownership.
They don't take ownership because we as moms and dads, and particularly us as moms, and I'm embarrassed to say that, but it's we as women, we want to protect our babies. We don't want them to hurt. We want them to be busy.
Yes.
You know, when a child comes to you and says, "I'm bored," we all think, "Oh, I'm not keeping them busy enough. Let me sign them up for something else." But then how do they ever learn how to deal with boredom?
Of course. This reminds me, in fact, one of my students, she is 8 years old. She wrote a book. And when I asked her that what inspired you to think about writing a book, she said every time, because I'm the only child and I was getting bored, I told my dad, "I'm bored." And my dad said, "Go and find a creative way to deal with your boredom." And then I used to lie and look at the things. And then that made me creative and that made me think about the stories. And then I told my mom, "Okay, you told me to deal with my boredom. I found a creative way. I want to write stories." And then her mom connects me with me. "Hey, can you help my daughter write a book?" Here she is. And this year she's written her second book.
That's so wonderful. I love that.
Just a little tweak.
Gives us industry. It makes us feel powerful. It makes us think that we can do things. I tell a story. And I'm a big storyteller. And I love to do that with kids. But the story of St. George and the Dragon, and George is a young man who has no parents. And he's being raised by the Princess Fairy, the Queen of the Fairies. And she teaches him to be a great knight. And knights protect other people and they stand up for justice. What a great thing.
Right.
And every time somebody comes with a problem, she sends another knight. And he's like, "What about me? What about me?" And how many times have our kids come to us go, "How about me? I can do that. I can do that." And we're like, "No, not yet. No, you're not capable." And they start to go, "I can't do anything.
You never trust me."
Right. Well, or they come and they say, "The coach never plays me," or "My teacher never lets me," or "I never." You know what? There's a time and a place for all of us. And learning to be patient and waiting for the right moment is important. So that's a piece of the story. The other piece is finally this little princess comes with her donkey and she's like, "There's a dragon in my kingdom and everyone is caught in the castle. And if they can't get out because the dragon will eat them." And she says, "George, this one's yours." So he puts on his shining armor and he takes off with this young princess. And when they get there, the dragon comes flying in. And you know what the princess does? She runs. Like, that's it, right? So she jumps on the donkey and they take off. And George is standing there with his sword. And it's just him and this ginormous dragon. And he fights with the dragon. Then the dragon knocks him over and knocks him out.
Right.
And then he roars, "I've won." And he flies off. And the poor princess is like, so she goes out and she takes the helmet off of him and she realizes he's still alive. So she drags him back and she puts him under the magic weeping willow, right? Because we all need magic when you're fighting a dragon. But the bottom line is she takes him and she winds up all of his wounds, binds them up. She feeds him. She comforts him. She lets him sleep. And in the morning, he's ready to go out and fight the dragon again. Well, this goes on for 7 days. And every time the dragon thinks he's won, he blows flames on him, knocks him out, throws him, all sorts of horrible things. And on the 7th day, and now the only thing the princess has done is dragged him over, comforted him, and sent him back. Guess who the princess is? You and I. We're the parents.
Right.
Bring your kids home, comfort them, send them back out to fight their dragon.
Right.
On the 7th day, the dragon, hits his shield and rips it out of his hands, and he cuts off the end of the dragon's tail, and the dragon roars. And anybody who knows anything about dragons realizes the only way to kill them is through the roof of their mouth. So he jabs it up there, and the dragon falls down dead. I know there's more to the story and all that, but the part that's important for us is we are the princess or the prince, you know, of the father, the mother, and our job is to drag them in. But how many times?
Right.
How many times have you and I and everybody else in our audience said to our kids, why don't you? How many times do I have to tell you, you're going to do this. You're not going to have any fun until you can't go to soccer anymore.
Right.
We beat the crap out of them.
We do.
And so they've been beaten by the dragon all day. And they come home and we beat the crap out of them. And let's be honest, women, we do this to our husbands. And husbands, you are not off the hook because you do it to us. We go out and we fight the dragons all day. And we come home and everybody's, why haven't you done this? How come you can't? Home is supposed to be the place where you build me up.
Right.
Where I feel safe and strong and capable.
Exactly.
And I go out and I fight that dragon.
This is so beautiful, so beautiful.
Now there are two kinds of dragons. The dragons that we need to kill. Anxiety, depression, the belief I'm not enough. And then there's dragons we need to make friends with. One of my legs is shorter than the other, or I'm very short, or, you know, I have a learning disability, or I'm ADHD. Those things are going to follow us for the rest of our lives.
They will, but accept it. I always say there is a formula called 3S, self-awareness about yourself. You have to be aware about who you are. Then self-love, love yourself the way you are. But then don't stop there, self-growth. You have to grow with what is your strength, right? It's so beautiful. But Nancy, tell us, you know, you have covered so much of journey. It's been years you are doing this. I'm sure there's nothing called as overnight success. She's got so much of experience, knowledge. What was was there a turning point in your life when you thought about, I cannot do this? I'm talking about the business, when you were doing business. Definitely it was your calling, it was your purpose, but sometimes running a business, and especially coaching parents, because it's very difficult to find that clients. So do you remember any such moment where you thought of?
There have been several, and I'm trying to, which ones are the best to share. I tell you, one of the biggest things that's been really hard for me is that we value so many things in this world. Going to Europe, taking our children there, taking our kids to see Disney World, you know, buying a new dress, getting our nails done, all of those kinds of things. And we say our children are the most important thing in our lives.
We do.
And I'm a therapist, and I want to tell you that I cannot tell you how many parents have cried, oh, I can't pay that fee, and my insurance doesn't cover it, and all of it. And they work me down because I want to take care of every kid. I don't want to send anybody away. And I do see two families, especially single mom families, all the time at a lower price. But everybody has to pay something because you have to have some skin in the game. But they come in and they go, I can't, you know, we can't do this. And I go, oh, you know, half the price, whatever. And then they show up the next day and they go, hey, next week we can't come because we're going to Disney World. And I'm like, but you couldn't afford you can't afford me. And I was so devastated by that. And there was a part of me that was just like, you know what? These parents don't care about their kids. They don't appreciate what I'm doing. I can't do this anymore. You know, and that was a real come to Jesus moment for me.
No, definitely. I think it's all about the priorities, or they do not understand. And as I said, we are all hardwired that we have given birth to a child, so we know it all. Right? Even when I was growing with my kids, I was learning. I used to read books and understand what I want to do with my kids. I have never scolded my kids. They don't know what scolding is all about. And, you know, we as parents also face a lot of peer pressure that, oh, my child has taken all the AP subjects. Your children didn't take. I said, my kids are average. I'm not working on making them a leader. I'm working on making them a good human. If they become a good human, they will become whatever they want to. Leadership is something they will learn with time, but being human starts right from the beginning.
From the beginning.
So beautiful. And then I'm sure you also talked that you are working on your books. Tell us something about your accolades, accomplishments, which makes you going, right? We all need that. We are humans. Every day when we wake up with a challenge, but something on that wall of fame reminds us, oh, I did that. I can do it again.
You know, it's really fun. There are two things that really have meant the world to me. One was there was a mom that I was working with, and I worked with her son and daughter and with her stepson. And she was so excited about the work that we did and how her family changed that she set up an entire meeting with every mother she knew. She literally filled a webinar for me.
Beautiful.
And I taught a 3-day class. And that was the beginning of my teaching, doing one-to-many. And it was amazing. I still have all the notes that everybody wrote me at the end of it saying how much it had changed their lives and how good it was. And so many of them came to me for counseling. Some of them came for what I like to call an oil change. Just help me with this little problem. And several of them have sent me other clients. And that's so encouraging.
Ripple effect.
But I'll tell you what really matters is I was working with a young man and his mom and dad and his sister. And he graduated, is what I like to call it when you're done seeing me. And he calls me up and he says, Miss Nancy, he goes, I got a friend and he's really struggling. And he said, I don't know what to do. I don't know who to talk to. And I told him he should come talk to you. Would that be okay? And there's nothing in the world like a young person saying, you helped me. I see it and I appreciate it.
Right. It feels like, accomplished.
Right. Well, you have to do something pretty big for a young 20-year-old to say, wow, that was helpful. Can you do it? Can you help a friend of mine?
That is so beautiful. I mean, you are impacting so many lives. It sounds very easy, but it is not.
Do you know what I tell people all the time? It is very simple what I do, but it's not easy to do. What I teach parents,
it's simple to do, but it's not easy. Okay, there's a difference between simple and easy.
Yeah. The way I like to describe it to parents is that, I was in college, I decided that I was going to pitch for a co-ed softball team. And one of the guys taught me how to pitch because I didn't want to be in the outfield because that's boring. And I ended up being a no-hitter. You could not hit on me. I was really good. It was really hard. There was a couple of teams that could, but very few people could. And what happened was he taught me to pitch. And every time we went out to practice, my friend Tommy would say, now turn your shoulder just a little bit more.
Okay.
Use a little bit more of your arm. When that ball comes back at you, you stand in front of it. So it's not enough to know. You need to have it tweaked.
Right.
And that's what your job is as a parent for your kid. And that's what my job as a coach is for you as the parent. You can go anywhere. Information is cheap. Read a book, watch a YouTube, get on some podcasts.
Yes.
But information is just information. But how do you use it? And why isn't it working for you? That's when you need a coach. That's when you need somebody to come in and go, you need to turn just a little bit.
Right.
You need to watch that tone. Hey, Mom, you said the right words, but the tone was wrong. Or that was a great tone, but did you hear your words? Right? So it's like in the morning, a friend of mine used to say, you can get up in the morning and say, oh, God, it's morning. Or you can say, oh, good God, it's morning.
I love
and
it.
We all hear the difference.
I also love when you talked about if, someone says you something in a very negative way, and then you say, just tell to our audience.
So we were talking about when you have a kid who's getting bullied, or you as an adult are getting bullied at work, and somebody says something to you, with a very calm voice, take a deep breath first. And I want you to notice when you breathe, you don't go, right? It's down here in your belly.
Yeah.
And and then tip your head a little and go, I'm sorry. Could you repeat that? Because most bullies are doing it to hurt you. And when you ask, everyone else around is now going, yeah, what did he say? And they don't want to be embarrassed.
Right. Such a great tip. I think you should make a note of it. I learned something today. Very nice. See, it's all about learning. And that's why we bring these amazing, I call them gems. They are the gems which I find here and there. Universe sends them my way. I'm so grateful to listen to your story. And coming towards the last part of the episode, we always ask our guests to share a magic formula. Now, what is a magic formula? I do a Wednesday voice on my all the social media where I share a 1 minute of a personal growth formula, something which is easy to remember, simple to apply.
Absolutely.
All right. So what's the magic formula for
So I'm super excited because I'm writing a book. This is the book.
Yes, you are.
So here it is. It's KFC. Don't just eat Kentucky Fried Chicken, live it. And so what it means is be kind, be firm, be consistent. KFC. Kind, firm, consistent. It sets good boundaries and it teaches other people how to treat you.
That's so beautiful. Now,
It's
whenever
simple.
you're eating a KFC, you will never forget Nancy, isn't it? This is so kind. But thank you so much, Nancy, for being here. Where can our audience find you?
So I am on Instagram, on Facebook, I'm in LinkedIn. And you can also go to my website, which you can either look up nancygrabe.com or foundationalfamily.com. And definitely down at the bottom of my web page, you can send me a message, and anybody who has a question, you can have 20 minutes of my time and see, one, if I can help you with a situation or if I can help you ongoing, because I've got lots of cool things that we do for parents, because everybody's in a different place.
Right.
And we all need different things.
Yes, we do. So definitely check her out. If you have any questions, shoot her an email, text her, whatever is the easiest possible way. But if you are stuck, please, you have the options in front of you. It's your choice to say yes. Don't stay in that struggle of, because your child's future is in your hands. So maybe those little answers that you're looking for, she is your go-to person. But thank you so much, Nancy, for being on our show. And I'm sure our guests are definitely going to be, awe. They got so much. Thank you so much.
I hope so. Thank you.
All right. Yay.
That was great. Thank you.